Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review episode number 275. We are here reviewing the 26th movie released, The Black Submarine, which came out just 2 years ago. This movie in particular does feature the final appearance of the actress who voices Jodie Sterling. Yes. Yeah, this movie is her last time she plays her because this was released around the same time as that really good three-parter that was the FS Sarah murder case when it ended up done for the anime. This would be sadly her, like, the not the character, her voice. She does appear a couple times in the movie where she's actually a friend of a couple of the characters in the movie. I mean, it's always nice to hear her voice. The one who voiced Jodie Sterling. Yes. And her voice actress was Magigi Icho. I think it's to pronounce a woman's name. Yeah, she's been voicing Jodie since her debut appearance, which is back in episode number 226. Yeah, since 226. That's pretty much basically her debut appearance, which that was released back in 2001. So after 22 years, she can no longer play the character. The reason being is because the actress passed away 6 months after this movie came out. Yeah, this movie was released in April 14th, 2023, which was a little over 2 years ago. Yeah, the prologue was actually an episode that I personally was not really a big fan of. The Cameras Talking Hybra. It was a really pointless episode, despite being supposed to be a prelude to this movie. It didn't really do anything for me, per se. Not really. So, yeah, sad to see the actress passed away. I didn't know she passed away until I looked up. If you're curious, what did she die of? Organ failure at the age of 74. In my honest opinion, this woman did an excellent job voicing Jodie. Yeah, excellent job. She definitely, hopefully, I didn't see any credits for the movie, but I'm hoping that in a future, something that hopefully, I didn't see any credits of any of the episodes per se. Hopefully for the very next movie, they at least did something as a tribute to the actress who voiced her for 22 years. I hope they did do that. That would have been quite nice. Because, of course, prior to this, there was that three-part, like I mentioned. That was the last time she voiced in the show, and this movie was technically, you can think of it as this movie as like her swan song, basically voicing Jodie Sterling. It was last thing released with her because it was released after the three-parter came out. So, movie opens with a woman in a business suit running with a gunshot wound in her shoulder. Yes, she is running from this mysterious assailant, who's a beautiful woman, who turns out is actually Carr, the woman who's actually a CIA agent undercover in the Black Organization. Yeah, movie opens up with these two, and they're chasing throughout the streets of Frankfurt, Germany. You're like, what? Yeah, Frankfurt, Germany. Now, this will be her second appearance in the movies, by the way. Still voiced the same actress. Yeah, and she was also just recently featured in a three-parter. This is the most recent thing to feature her. Yeah, and then, of course, chasing on motorcycles. Like, you drive a motorcycle on top of these stairs, and, like, telling her, like, oh, please jump. And she jumps. And then all of a sudden, a bullet goes right through Kerr's shoulder. Really good special effect here. Like wow, that's really good. And it hits the woman right in the freaking head. killing her instantly. By the way, this woman's named Nina. And it turns out she's an old friend of Jodie, so that's the reason why Jodie's here. Follows the water dead. And this plays a small role toward the end of the movie, this particular scene. And Jen's like, don't hesitate to shoot. Yep, Jen. Yeah, pretty much this is basically the next particular major story featuring the Black Organization, because as far as I can tell, nothing has featured with them since then. You're probably thinking it was any like particular manga story featuring the Black Organization after this. No. Not really. This is the most recent thing they come up with them. Which is interesting. I would have thought, though, they would have featured them, like... Okay, if they were featured kind of in... Akemi Miyo's Time Capsule, which came out just a few months after this. This is somehow considered a story associated with the Black Organization. Somehow. But they will also be involved in the chess tournament murder case, which I don't think this has been adapted yet for the anime. No, this has not been adapted yet. So that is the most recent thing, that 6-parter, which is really good. That might be the next one, basically, that might do. Yes. So, then we jump ahead to, like, oh, we have Detective Boys, and Sonico's here too, which, why the heck were you from the last movie, Sonico? Because I don't remember seeing this, so she's credited to be in the movie, which is weird. Not really sure why. So they all go to see, like, this little, fun little thing here. Rand is here, along with her father, who doesn't do a lot in the movie per se like usual. We do see later on in the movie he does this sleeping cowgirl thing, something he did not do in the last movie, which I'm sure people were complaining, hey, how can we do this sleeping cowgirl thing last movie? Probably because basically Conan did all the legwork movie, and basically he did practically, probably because also he was taken halfway through the movie. So then of course Conan sees, I kid you not, 2 characters who's not appeared in the anime for quite a while. Shakatori, an inspector. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a little while. And we also, his boat also has Hayoi Kuroda. Excellent character he is. In his 3rd movie, I think this was actually was his 3rd movie appearance? Or 2nd? Yeah, this was his second movie appearance. He actually previously appeared in Zero the Enforcer, which that's when they revealed that Armor was actually a subordinate. He has been appearing in the anime since basically, like, he has appeared a lot in the anime per se. Last time he appeared was the Mokuchi Oji Sweet Trap, which came out in September of last year. Yeah, that's the most recent time featuring him. Shakatori was actually featured in a triple collab case. It was the one referred to as the suspected infidelity of triple collab, which came out just prior to that. That was the 2 most recent times that these 2 actually appeared in the anime. Yep. By the way, this movie is not featured Takagi. Nope. But it's not the McGuire here. Nope, probably. Look at that. So, Colin follows, and of course they mentioned that they have this news broadcast about this specific buoy that has this system that can activate all these cameras across the whole world. Oh, by the way, also there's a part of the movie that's similar to plot Mission Impossible just by sheer coincidence. And using AI technology, so they go on this specific movie in this really cool looking base. And you would think that this thing would be a villain's base. No, this is basically a place owned by Interpol. Referred to as, yes, it's Interpol, but also it's Europol, which I'm not sure why in the world they do that for. Oh, by the way, the woman who died at the beginning, she was a Europol agent. And the person who shot her was not Kim. It was not Kerr. Nope, it wasn't her. She not only shot her. It was somebody else. We'll get back to that person. So they go on this thing, and of course they introduce everybody there, all the very nice people. We're introduced to Yosuke Mina, who's the one in charge of the place. Nina Baumer, who is actually she's the one who died. Naomi Agato, who's a friend of a certain character, gets later. There's Ed, is an Indian engineer. There's Grace. She actually has a big role in the finale. Leonhardt, who is a German. Kenji, who is a cruise captain, obviously. There's also a couple, like... So. Interesting, buddy. They show all the AF technology, and this actually plays a little bit of a role of the reason why they go after Hybra. Yes. So, then of course they decide to kit. Then of course we have Amuro and Vermouth. By the way, it also was an earlier scene where we have Hybra in line to get this brooch. And because it's so limited, this old lady was really hoping to get hands on this brooch. But Hybra didn't know how expensive it was, gave it to a lady, and she thanked her for it. And believe it or not, this scene with Hybra and this old lady, that plays a role in the big final act of this movie. You think, how the heck does this play a role? You'll find out and see, because it is like, what? Yeah. So we'll get back to that. So, once again, I had to bring it up because basically people were like, why did you bring it up? Because, well, there's that. So, then of course, basically, where Amuro and Vermont come on board, they knock out Nina, Nami, who basically is unconscious, who knocks her out. They experience a cleaning car. Of course, everyone else, she disappeared. And of course, couldn't do much of anything, so Connor goes back to the hotel, where then we see Vaca uses the all-age technology in this movie to find out the Hybra is Sherry. What? So, the thing is, Kerr, Vermouth, want nothing to do with this at all. They don't want anything to do with what the boss's plan is. Here comes the original character, Pisco, which is later revealed to be actually a drink named after a drink that's made from the same ingredient, and from ingredients similar to rum. Yes. A guy who has the face of a woman. Yep, so Hybra does notice, of course, this whole thing of like, switching glasses, and like, of course, she notices based on, of course, she's saying with I am because they're basically BFFs. And then, of course, she opens the door, like, oh crap, it's Vaca. He's found her, and of course, taking hunches. Of course, Conan does notice it, and before he's about to do something, here comes Rand, jumps on the balcony, gets into a fight with members of Black Organization, which she does not know about the Black Organization. All she sees is somebody kidnapping a child. Which, yeah, and she's basically beating the crap out of this person with basically her martial arts. And Puck's like, who the heck is this girl? Just randomly popping out of nowhere fighting him. Like, it's a damn good fight sequence. And Falcon's like, ignore her! Get in the vehicle! Of course, she also, by the way, ran proceed to punch the freaking hood with her raw strength. Something you very rarely see in this show. Yep. And of course, Conan chases him down via his skateboard, and of course, he tells basically Professor Agasa what's going on. He's like shocked to hear this. And so they chase him down, they do the pincer move, and then the Jeep proceeds to go off a cliff, and Conan follows him into the water, which I don't know how he gets a skateboard later, and discovers that they are being picked up by a submarine. You're like, how the heck did the Black Organization get a submarine? They probably bought it someplace. And just go on board. Then Hybra wakes up, and then she's with basically Nico. Nika reveals actually she has a past with Sherry because she had protected from bullies and wanted to thank her, wanted to find her. And the fact that she looks exactly like her, think that she might be Mahiko. And it's hints of the fact she does know that Hybra is Mahiko, but she's not gonna tell anybody because basically she's a good friend of hers. So, meanwhile, though, the German fellow of the group, Leonhardt, basically discovers this whole backdoor thing. So, confronts this mysterious person, who then decides to chloroform him, and then he's found later poisoned at, in the cafe when we're supposed to be cleaning, and apparently the order was canceled. Yeah, and then there's after some investigating, and of course after Hybra, after they can figure out how to get out of the submarine, thanks to Kurt talking to Vaca. So they escape via torpedo tube. Yes, a torpedo tube. And they try to chase after him, but no avail. Look up Conan finds them, takes them back to the surface. And yeah. And of course Conan knows basically that the way Nika does his drink, run her finger across the cup. And then of course then after some investigating, I think possibly it could be suicide with this guy. Nope. It was freaking murder. Because of course basically there is a possibility that he may get a deal with Pizzico. So he knocks out Mori and reveals that Grace killed Leonhardt, and used the technology to manipulate the fact she was the one to basically, the thing that Lee was actually walking around with a coffee cup, which actually was her, because of the little rubbing the thumb across the top. And it turns out and by the way, Inspector, that's not a woman, that is a guy. And it's they proof? And then the Superman just takes out for a skirt. There's a bruise where Rand basically hit him. And takes me, I'm Pizzico, it's the cabaret guy. Which they do not know the Black Organization. I'm sure the superintendent, I'm sure he knows about it because he's working with Amuro. But does McGuire know what the Black Organization? Nope. So of course, basically, they later find, of course they discovered, they kind of deemed that, by the way, Ron appears brief in the movie, make his first appearance in the movie. And there's a silhouette of the boss, which they apparently can't find him. Yeah, they have no idea. This might be contacts via email. They don't know where the heck he is, which that might be an interesting plot in the series. By the way, there's a reference here to many different past agents to be killed off over the course of the series. Because this movie is set to bring up characters I completely forgot existed. First of which is Kariko, who's the Rum's right-hand woman, who appeared in the 20th movie, which came out back in 2016. This one introduced Kazami basically the first time. Yeah, she was originally Rum's right-hand woman, then she got killed. And then, here's others they bring up. I'm kind of surprised they brought these people up. Tequila! A character who appeared in one story arc in the series. He appeared one at a time here. He appeared in technically one episode. Yes, a one-episode villain who appeared way back in 1997. Yes, for an episode that after 3 chapters. An episode was the Game Company murder case. And there's also Pizzico, who actually is another canon member of the organization. I think he appeared in one case. I think he tried to kidnap Hybra. He appeared only in a 3-episode arc known as Reunion with the Black Organization. And you're thinking when did this come out? 2000. So as of right now, part of this movie was 23 years ago. Which also, there's a nod to what Conan giving Highbrow his glasses, which good little nod there. Heck, they bring up Irish, who appeared in the 13th movie. We think, that's interesting. By the way, they introduced 2 new gadgets here, the Illinois scooter and our headset, which that was really cool. The headset, in a little thing they put Coleman himself. That's actually a nod to. I think that's a nod to Thunderball with that thing, because it was revealed in the. If you're watching the movies, it was revealed in I mentioned Secret Service. He's actually had that thing in his drawer. Now, Rome, I believe this is correct. This movie was practically his debut appearance. Yeah, this actually was basically, after you hear his voice, basically, the last movie, which was the 20th movie. Here he appears like, it's like, okay, because this thing is deemed useless. So, let's have the submarine blow up the facility. So then, of course, the superintendent orders McGuire to evacuate everybody. Good on him for doing that. By the way, Sato basically at one point was yelled at by Conan for not believing him. And he does apologize to her later on. She's like, it's fine. I didn't, because the fact that I think this was the first time I could think of that she ever suspected Conan of lying. But after seeing all this stuff here, realized though, no, he didn't lie. He actually told the truth. So they chase on Pasico, which he finds out, thanks to his technology, that Code is actually Seiji Kudo. Which, by the way, the whole movie, when Gasa's not having an earshot of basically everybody, he calls Conan Seiji. Which he hasn't really done much in the show. Which I found that to be interesting because it's like he has to be very careful not to call him Seiji because, well, he was actually the very first person to find out. We actually even see a flashback in the movie of something that was actually shown in the show where Hybra, where she's basically Sherry, takes the pill, shrinks herself, and then she runs away, runs to Agasa. It seems very similar to the show, except they show Agasa look like he falls over, and then Jin is there. Jin's thing with Sherry is he's obsessed with seeing her butt naked. Yes, that is his thing with Sherry. He's had this obsession with her the entire time she's been in the series, and Sherry and basically Hybra is afraid of him because the fact that he's obsessed with her. Why? Maybe he likes how pretty she is, despite the fact that I should point out though, when Sherry's first introduced in the series, she's like 18 years old, she's like about a year older than Conan. She's kind of adult-ish, yes, but it's very young. Very young. So, and of course, Jen's like, oh, you got Sherry. Let's go meet her. That's when she escapes, of course. And of course, somebody fires on them. Of course, they're decoys, but luckily, thanks to Vermal, they're able to figure out how to shut it down. And yeah, able to shut down the decoys. So then eventually Aki is called in. Yes, Aki is called in because he can't fire a rifle at it, so he brings a bazooka and he fires it from a helicopter. Look up Conan basically going underwater, create this shining effect next to his exploding soccer ball, and is able to light up the air where the submarine is, and that's when Aki proceeds to fire his bazooka at the submarine, heavily damaging it. So everybody has to evacuate. Basiko was going to meet up with him anyways. Like, you gonna let me in? Huh. And then the submarine explodes. According to Jen, basically it was necessary loss due to the fact it contained a lot of Black Organization secrets. It's like, did you Basiko? I forgot. Write him off there because he's basically not a main character for the main series, but and then of course where And of course, like, oh, and of course, they were in the mall later on in the movie. And it turns out the old lady who appeared at the beginning of the movie turns out it's actually Vermouth. Yep, it's Vermouth. And it's shown that she has the brooch that Hybra gave the voucher for to get the damn thing. And she's like, why did I help her? Who knows? And that's how the movie ends. By the way, also when Hybra gets rescued later on, Hybra rescues gets Conan, he ends up kissing him out of water, and then of course, like, Hybra basically, who's awake, Rand thinks she's unconscious to do mouth to mouth, so then of course proceeds to kiss Rand. The only time in the series she ever did this, because she ever did the main series. I don't know if she's in the next movie or not. I have no idea. And Rand's like, what? Yes, a little girl just kissed her. Yes. And of course she's like, and of course she's just like telling her like, put your glasses on. She's like, because basically it's all Clark Kent situation with this thing. But overall, really good movie. I love this thing. It was excellent. Love the good sequencing. Like, it seems like for this era, for the case was the Wayfarer movies, it seems like every movie's improved on the last. Like, wow. It's like each special effect is top than the other, which is awesome. And plus, I've noticed this with even the previous movie too. We're following up with stuff from the show. The first movie didn't technically do this, but the previous movie did follow up with one 2-parter. This follows up with a few episodes plus a movie. Yes, a freaking movie. Like 2 movies. I thought this was awesome. Yeah. All in all, fantastic movie. And sadly put, I have one more to go that I can watch right now because the other one's not available online yet. So next time we discuss this, we'll be discussing the most recent movie release that came out last year. Not movie came out last month. No, that's not available yet. So next time for episode 276, it'll be the $1 Million Pentagram. Yep. So that's pretty much it. Particular view. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I think I'll leave this for later. I'm going to go out for a bit later. Then we'll be back to discuss two comic corners and also the final movie released. And afterwards, I'm probably going to watch some Doctor Who. Okay, next video. Bye.